Welcome to Overtime the Podcast. Overtime is a podcast dedicated to all things watches, with a soft spot for the micro brand and affordable range. I'm Praka, and this is my co-host, Justin.
We are two watch tragics based out of Perth, Western Australia. Join us as we chat about new watch releases, share our stories, and give you tips on building your collection.
Whether you're a watch pro or just getting into the hobby, we'll keep you entertained with insights and interviews from the industry, along with our casual conversations.
Let's get started.
So, Justin, how you going, mate?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good for Tuesday night. Not time I'm recording. It's freezing cold. I got a fresh pair of Uggs for the first time in like 11 years, I think. So
Nice.
Feet are warm and cozy, but yeah, feeling the chill. What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely feeling chill. I've moved studios. I moved my office.
Oh, yeah.
Studio sounds cooler. Now I moved my office from where it was to now, and this room isn't connected to the central aircon that we've got. So this room's got its own separate unit anyway, long story short. So I've actually got the heater running right in front of me. You can't hear it, can you?
Nah, I can't hear anything.
Perfect. So it's keeping me nice and warm here, actually, which is required. Tonight's freezing. I think it's like 6 degrees overnight or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's rain coming too.
Yeah. So, but no matter how cold it gets, I'm not quite sure about the Uggs.
They're not actual like boots. They're like the grandpa slipper.
Classic.
Opposed to the boots.
Classic. Very good.
But yeah, I was just actually right before we jumped on, I was looking at the design for the new place that I'm building.
Yeah.
And because I was like, where am I going to record? Because I've got like an e-nook there. So I'm not going to have a room. It's going to be in the lounge room in the corner, but like kind of tucked away on the side. Okay. But I just something I didn't build on until about an hour ago.
Oh, you got to make that happen, man. You got to build yourself your own studio. No, get some soundproof padding and all sorts of stuff. No,
until I buy another bed for the spare room, then I'll be chucking everything in there for now.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, as usual, before we crack on with the episode, what do you got on your wrist, mate?
Well, as I think it's become a bit of a trend from week to week, I took my watch off to go load the dishwasher and do the dishes and whatnot. But all day was spent with the Citizen ProMaster in this ice blue or ice diver, I think is what most of the YouTube videos and reviews titled it. Yeah, it's a bit of an NWA, I guess, for the...
Yeah, I don't think you've actually said that in the podcast, so yes, NWA.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, picked it up on the Starbuy flash sale for $2.99 AUD, which I think, is a bargain for what I got here.
Yeah.
Looking forward to some new straps arriving. I was possibly going to throw it on a NATO because I'm still going to wear it tomorrow. Possibly a Tropic as well tomorrow, see how I feel. But yeah, it's a fun watch, and to compete with stuff like the Turtle, and that's all the other divers in my collection now apart from the Black Bay. But from being pretty experienced with Seiko divers, it's definitely holding its own for a Eco Drive fairly affordable watch.
Yeah, I mean, under $200 for our stateside friends. Bargain. Yeah, Eco Drive, solid design, and keep into your blue watch era trend.
I am. I also think about what other watches fall under that, like under 200 USD or 300 AUD mark, and I think it is quite a step above what else is out there for that price, if you can pick it up for that price.
Yeah, definitely. Nice one.
What about yourself, man? What's on wrist today?
I have been wearing the same watch all day. It's my Grand Seiko SBGX209, the 9F high accuracy quartz, but I have changed the strap on it. So yeah, really such a strap monster, this watch. I bought this herringbone style strap on AliExpress, and it's awesome. It's like,
it's cool.
Very, I don't know, just a bit like old man style, I guess, if you want to say, but I guess I felt like that. Classic, that's the word, classic. No, it also just suits the proportions as well, right? It's only 36.5 mil case. It's very classic proportions, 10 mil thick, 18 mil lugs. It's just very, very classy. So, enjoying it, and just twice in a week, I think. Which I don't tend to wear the same watches a lot. I'm always rotating, but no, quite the
If
yes, I'm
you
definitely
like something,
enjoying
you
it.
like something.
Exactly. No, definitely enjoying it. All right. Well,
Oh, very cool.
let's get on with this week's episode. So, this week we thought we would discuss, it would be like a discussion episode.
Yep.
And the topic really spurred on. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos as we do about watches as we do. And one of the topics that it wasn't directly come out of a video, it was more like I guess a combination of different topics. And I just thought and messaged you and you're like, yeah, this is good. We can talk about this.
Mm,
And basically it's like the life cycle of a watch enthusiast. I thought it was an interesting topic because I think everyone has, goes through that phase, right? When they start where they are, for a couple of years or a couple of months, and then where they get to, you
yeah.
know. So I guess, sometimes we've definitely spoken about sport, and you've went through this definitely, and so have I. We're always in that stage of buying. We're always buying new
Mm,
stuff. We're buying and selling, or some cases just buying acquiring, FOMO for the next piece, for the next piece, for the next piece. And then you reach a certain point where things change and you
definitely.
might feel a bit different. You slow down or you might start appreciating different things or and maybe just enjoying what you got. So I thought, it's a great conversation in this, and there's a lot to be spoken about that sort of cycle. So, Justin, I guess I want to ask you when you first started collecting, or what you
Mm.
thought as like, I'm going to start collecting watches. What was your initial mode?
Yeah, I guess it's weird because to pinpoint a time where I think I started collecting, I wasn't searching or kind of had that lust or that need to keep searching and keep looking. Like we all get to that point, like you said. But I
Mm,
wasn't in that stage when I started collecting. It was more or less just like, and a very different time in life and in the world compared to now, in terms of where career is at and where the world is at itself. So different factors to consider.
sure.
But yeah, looking back, I used to just buy what I liked. Like yeah, I didn't really have like a budget aside for what that I would allocate to spend. I would just be kind of walking past the Shields at the time that I never bought online and just kind of go, oh, that's cool. Let's go try it on. And then I'd be like, oh, go have a coffee, sit down, have a quick think about it. If I liked it, I'd buy it. If I didn't, I'd think about it. But I didn't have that like feeling that you get if you see it, you liked it, but you're unsure that you're going to miss out and it's going to be on your brain for the next 10 hours to 10 days, however long you choose to ponder. But I never had that need to get on with it type thing until I want to say when I got bit by the Seiko addiction, I guess, is what I think the time was. So
Yeah.
I went through a few things, and I did have some not fashion watches, but like gold PVD watches from like Seiko and Pulsar and stuff like that before I got into what I think was my collecting stage. I think at the time I was a collector of watches that didn't have any meaning or any attraction. It was just like I liked it, that was it. Whereas in my actual collecting for the purpose of collecting and trying to tick like I want five divers, I want one dress watch, I want a Garter, that type of stuff started when the Seikos kind of got into my brain,
Mm,
which was coincidentally at the same time that that I really felt that like I'd be up all night looking at
yeah.
websites, looking for deals, looking for discount codes. Like we've all been through it. Like I don't feel like an idiot saying it,
No,
but
definitely
there is
not.
nights when you sit there just looking and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it doesn't stop. And whether it be, you find something at marketplace for 450 and you're going, oh, that's a good deal. It's for new, maybe 650, 700. You can save a bit of money, but then you want that new experience. And I don't know. That's kind of the way it started for me. It was definitely Seiko's. That was the rabbit hole.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think very much the same. Like, I think when you initially sort of get into it, like when I first sort of like got into it, my first automatic watch was a Seiko. So
Yep.
before that, I was a Timex, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I wore it, but I was always looking for the next. I was already searching, like, what am I going to
Mm,
get next? What else can I get? But I was searching, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna miss out on something
Mm.
necessarily because it was all models that were, I don't know, relatively attainable in that sense. They were not micros, they were not limited editions per se. They were just watches, like they were like, Orient Komatsu or a
Yep.
Orient Bambino or a Seiko 5. It was the very staple basics, if you want to say, or a Citizen, I think it was a Fugu. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
this is cool. I like this. I was looking at it. And at that time, I didn't really know any other sort of watch enthusiast. It was myself and my good friend, aka friend of the podcast as well, who we both sort of developed our enjoyment of watches at the same time. And then we would always be sending each other videos back and forth, YouTube video. I check this out, I check that out, or and that's how it slowly, 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 slowly built up. And as in, I would just save, save, save. And then there's like a mental barrier of like, okay, well, I don't want to spend any more money than this. And then eventually I
Yep.
broke that barrier. Eventually I broke that barrier. And then it was just like, roll tide. Like then
Mm.
came the micro brands. I think for me, the point where I started like I need like I'm up all night looking at watches, the next watch to buy or whatever it is, or was when I sort of got bitten by the micro bug. I was like, wow, these micro brands are cool. There's so many different things out there and they weren't easily attainable too
Mm.
because of that sort of drop FOMO release type stuff that a lot of micro brands do, Zelos, and not necessarily FOMO. That's just what they do, right? They can only release watches for a
Yep.
certain part. They can only produce this much, and then they may come back later when they get in stock, but who knows when it's going to come back. So you start getting that FOMO, and then it sort of
Mm.
coincided with when I started joining Facebook groups.
I was about to say that as well. Facebook and YouTube, when I'd married those two up,
Yeah,
that's when it really got slippery.
yeah, very dangerous combo, and it just started. Yeah, like let's just let's just get the next and get the next, and then you get the next watch. Like I don't know, I remember getting the Bambino. Like I really had that period of like, yeah, I'm enjoying this piece. I'm really enjoying it. You wear it, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna get a Seiko Turtle now. I got that. I
Yeah.
mean, look, it's not like every other day I'm buying. I'm talking like, months at a time, if not a
Mm.
whole year. So, don't judge me that much. But hey, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably feeling the same way. So it did take
Oh,
a
but
period of time. Yeah.
for some people, it is small amounts of time as well. Like
Mm,
I see people on forums purchase something on one day and then they're already posting for the next purchase the next. Like there's been no hands-on time with the watch that's coming in. It's
yeah.
just straight on to the next and it doesn't stop.
I
Yeah, that.
find that I have done that before as well, actually quite recently, because I picked up two deals. Like, it was kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's a good deal. I've really wanted it for a long time. I enjoy it. Who's to say I'm going to keep it for a long time? But hey,
Mm.
I'll keep it and I'll enjoy it while I have it. And then yeah, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and just going back to the YouTube thing, I mean, I actually can pinpoint a spot in my collecting. So I just bought my first dive watch, which was a Tissot C Star 1000, the quartz chrono.
Mm,
Big, big watch. And I remember, I don't know why I decided to YouTube. I'd never watched a YouTube video before that watch. And I can't remember why I decided to, but that's when I found Jody from Just One More Watch. And I do remember staying up from like 7:30 at night to like 3 in the morning. And I'm not a late night person at
yeah.
all. And I remember looking at I specifically remember looking at my phone, and be like, oh my God, what have I done? And went to bed. And the first thing I did was get up and pop up the YouTube channel again. And I think I had my first turtle being the Save the Ocean shark fin
Same.
turtle within 48 hours of buying the Tissot and watching the reviews and
Oh,
Jody's channel. I went straight on to because I was just like, I need Seiko. Seiko's where it's at.
yeah.
And then within hours of that, not hours, sorry, within weeks of that, I had the Orange Samurai. And then it just kicked on from there. And I ended up with, yeah, a stupid amount of
Yeah.
Seiko divers, Seiko fives in the collection. I'm like room to put it. It just got so slippery. And then joining the groups, like you said, on Facebook at the same time. And I'm not an envious person. I don't care what watch you
Sure.
wear at all. We tell the exact same time, whether it be Quartz, yeah, Eco Drive. chronograph, or very high-end horology. Well, it tells the same time. But back then, when I was watching people post their pictures in forums, and this is part of the lifestyle of a collector, I did get envious. I got very
Mm,
jealous that people had these, high-end watches. Back then, I wasn't on as good of a weight as I am now, and I got envious. It happens.
mm.
Same as like you said with the certain releases, stuff releasing and you missing out. I wasn't angry about it like people get, but definitely envious of people who got it.
Sure.
But I guess that's part of it, right? Not a
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
happy side of it, but it is.
No, I mean, and that's just being real, right? I mean, like
Mm,
yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily yeah, I don't think I went through that sort of, oh, someone got this release when I wanted it necessarily, but like as in someone else grabbing it. But I have, you know, like as in like, oh, I wanted to click this to buy it. Oh, wait, it's not there anymore. Oh, bugger. That's a bit of a bugger. Like
yeah.
I never sort of, maybe just because the way I sort of purchased in the past, or actually even now, is very opportunity based. Like, I mean, I've
Yep.
I've spoken about this before. I'm very much I think the secondhand market is great. You
Yep.
can always find some great stuff there. Sometimes not so good, but there's an opportunity thing. But I completely get that, and I think that's like most hobbies. I feel it's not just a
Oh, for
watch thing.
sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think I
Yeah.
remember like that's right. Dunks, Nike Dunks. You know how
Yeah.
like
Talk
you
about a toxic collector community. Yes, sneakers are up
yeah,
there.
exactly. So you know how like you had to get the Nike app or something, sneakers,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you have to. I mean, because I know this is quite big in the US, but Australia not as much. I mean, like Australia, you used to be able to just go to Foot Locker or one
Hmm.
of those shops and you just go and buy some Nikes. You may have to queue up if it's released, but you just go buy it. And then it became like, no, they're going to start putting it in sneakers app only release, and then you got to like wait up and hit play that game. You're playing that
Yeah.
game, the same old Zelos, logging on at this talk at night to get on the game. I think I tried it. I did it once to jump on and I missed out, and I was kind of like, man, it's a bit annoying because I kind of like that colorway, but I
Yeah.
was a bit annoyed. And then I bought, and then I stayed up like I don't know, like a week later or something, and I went, yep, bang, this looks cool, and get it. Now, if I'm being brutally honest to myself, would I have bought that exact colorway? Maybe not. But
Yeah.
did I buy that because I was annoyed that I missed out on another one like the week before? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
And I've done that with watches too. That's the
Yep.
thing. Like I've gone into, I went into purchase when the new Seiko fives came out. I wanted a green one, and I wanted the one that had that kind of Fotina look to it, the creamier lume, and
Ah, yeah.
the I guess goldy kind of or brassy kind of indices on it,
Yeah.
different color five, and they didn't have it. And I said, oh yeah, I was just like, well, I'm gonna wait till it comes back then. And then
Yeah.
within one coffee and something to eat, I went and bought just the plain green and white bezel
There
variant.
you go.
So
Yeah.
same thing. And yeah, going back to sneakers too. Yeah, I've flown to Melbourne and camped outside secret sneaker store and lined up for stuff in my early days and slept in the cold. I think I camped out once in the city here at Lo-Fi as well
Oh, yeah.
in Perth
Yeah.
years and years ago. This is like 2000, must be like 14, 13,
Yeah.
15, somewhere around there. But yeah, it's crazy what you do to collect things. I mean, I
Yes.
haven't gotten that far with watches, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that does really frustrate me in terms of collecting, and it is about missing out. It's when you
Mm.
click on a Facebook marketplace and you're like, this looks good. And you flick them the message and they just haven't removed the ad. That really frustrates me because it's up and, everyone's first line, and if you're trying to sell a marketplace, is if the ad's still here, it's still available.
Yeah.
And I try not to be that person who sends the, hey, is this still available, mate? I just kind of give my offer or ask
Yeah.
my question.
Mm.
And yeah, when it's gone but still on advertisement, it really frustrates me because I do feel like I've genuinely
Uh,
missed out there because you get your hopes up because it is marketplace. Stuff doesn't move as
yeah.
quickly sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No,
Anyway,
I feel you there. I feel you there. I've been the other side of that. I've accidentally not deleted one. Someone hit me up and they got really mad. They got so mad that I didn't remove the ad, and I was like, man, I'm working. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just haven't got to it yet. I'm sorry. And this guy was angry. It wasn't a watch, by the way. It was just some general
I
marketplace
was going to say it
stuff.
wasn't my fake alias then.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Um,
But
I
but
don't
it's
get angry with the
yeah.
person. It's
I
just
know.
frustrated about the situation.
I know. That's okay. I mean, I'm sure the listeners would realize that, well, if you don't, Justin's not that kind of person. Definitely not. He's definitely not.
Nah, yeah, pretty chill.
You're pretty, yeah, very chilled. So, look, I mean,
Unless it's Hublot.
yes, definitely. And then it needs, and then
Had to get
it's
it in.
deserved. It's deserved. But I guess we both spoke about a point where we sort of, went a bit crazy. We went over the
Hmm.
top, bought a lot of stuff. I've had plenty of watches coming in. But then I guess the next stage of that naturally is the slowdown,
Yes. Yeah.
taking your time, thinking about the next purchase or consolidating and then going, you know what, I don't need this many stuff. I only need these because I really enjoy these. And the reason why you enjoy these is because you've taken your time and you've worn that piece and you're really going, yeah, this is what I really want. I feel like you're kind of there now, more so than I am.
I've been through this a couple of times now.
Yeah.
So going back to probably 2018, 2019. So it was probably when I first found another kind of watch community slash podcast out of Australia. I joined a Discord chat or a Slack channel, I think it was, where we all kind of chatted. And then I started to realize it wasn't based on a monetary value, but it kind of hit me in monetary value where look at how much I've spent on Seiko divers. And my collection was Seiko divers, a couple of tags, and G-Shocks, heaps of G-Shocks.
Mm.
And I was probably up there around the 60, 70 watches at one point
Were you
with
saying this and I nearly fell off my
yeah,
chair? Yeah.
I literally went on eBay and bought pillows, like watch pillows, and I
Yeah.
had them in a like tote tub with a lid on it up in my wardrobe and just had them layered with like a rag or like a fiber cloth over the top. And that's how I stored them because I didn't have a watch box big enough for them. I didn't have anywhere to store that type of watch box on like I didn't want it on a shelf or anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, it hit me then and I was just like, I wear a couple of these. I maybe chuck on the odd one out of this out of rotation. The rest are just sitting there. My money could be spent elsewhere. And that's when I started to chat to people about what's the next step for me.
Yeah.
Where should I be looking at? And I didn't really have a goal of spending more money on something that was a bit higher end or,
Yeah.
if in quotations, first nice watch.
Sure.
But that's where I headed. So I think I got rid of my tags first because that was where most of the money in the collection was in a single watch. So
Sure.
Carrera 5, a regretful sale in a Monaco, and then I had a F1 quartz as well. And actually, I had two Carreras. I had a black one as well, black PVD with like a rose gold
Oh yeah.
gilt style. It was a woman's watch as well, with what the tag market for. I remember the lady in Mazzucchelli's Galleria looking at me like, "Why do you want this?" Anyway, off topic.
Yeah.
And
But I
that's
mean, it's
when
actually a good point. But
it is, yeah, yeah,
it's true because like it shouldn't be. It should just be what size you want to wear. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't understand unless it's, properly fully diamantes and stuff. All that. I get what
No,
people are trying to market it for, but at the end of the day, if you want to wear it, go ahead and wear it.
I remember feeling really weirded out by this experience because she was like it was a 36 mil like a
Oh,
completely black rose gold, and
yeah.
she was like, "Oh, but you're a bit of a burlier dude, and you got your tattoos. It doesn't really suit you." And I was like, "But I
Don't tell me
like
what
it.
to wear. Yeah.
I like it." And I was like, one tear in my eye. She like kind of told me my manhood wasn't there.
Right.
No,
No,
I'm
but
kidding.
but no, but honestly though, that's the like you should be able to wear whatever you want. Like I mean,
Yeah,
look, with exception, if for me is if the watch is literally hanging off the side of your wrist and it's so big, then look, it's probably not for you.
yeah.
But any other thing, go ahead, do what you want.
But also, if
Anyway,
it makes you happy, just wear it. Yeah.
yeah,
And but I
yeah,
mean, look down the track now. I'm like in pinks and
yeah,
purples, like
exactly. You're
Anyway,
all that means is you're confident
that's
in
it.
yourself to wear what you want, do what you want, and who cares what people think?
Exactly.
Go ahead. Anyway, side
Um,
topic. My bad. Go on.
but yeah, so I like moved on my tags and had a small chunk of money. Like most of it came from the Monaco, which the gentleman who took that from me got a steal, and the Carrera was a steal. They were all good prices. I wasn't in the market of trying to get my money back, or I wasn't one of those people who I know what I've got people. And that's when I bought the Captain Cook, and that was like a consolidate from four into one. And then that feeling, and then learning the history of the Captain Cook, and it was quite new back then as well. The re-release of it and the reissue of the Captain Cook was pretty fresh. And that point was when I really fell in love with collecting. Even though I knew I was already a collector and deep into it, that was a huge shift in it. And not long after, I sold so many Seikos. I should have lived at the shopping center that I was doing my like marketplace deals at, because I was just backwards and forwards for days on end. I wasn't too fussed on any price. I was actually kind of felt good about giving someone else a deal. I was paying retail for these watches, some on special, some not on special, from Shields and Angus and Coot. There was a lot of money in Seiko there, and I'd sold oh, all of them down to a couple, and I traded a couple for stuff like Squale and Bolivar,
Mm.
and had a Lunar Pilot there, which I got a trade for at once upon a time.
I
But
remember, like, so just cutting you there for a sec. I
yeah,
remember one of your Seikos come up on Marketplace, and I was kind of like, thought about it. Didn't quite, yeah. But this was before I even met you, which is crazy. So anyway, keep going.
yeah. No, I got rid of so many, and I think I remember putting up a single post about Seiko fives, and I think I had 23 from old to new Seiko fives. And funny enough, an Asian gentleman came and picked them all up in one go. He offered me a price, and I was just like, yeah, cool.
Mm.
So that was easy. And then yeah, after that mass consolidation happened, that's when I picked up the Oris Arquus Cherry. And that was one of the first times looking back and collecting where I thought, yeah, my collection's really happy right now. And that consisted of two Seiko divers, a single Seiko five, the Captain Cook, the Oris, a Zillos, or maybe two Zillos at the time, a couple of G-Shocks still, and then yeah, I think I'd sold 20 to 30 G-Shocks as well. So I consolidated from huge amount down to 10. 10 was the goal.
Mm.
So there was a Squale in there, there was the Bull of a Lunar Pilot, and then I was quite happy. And then I was good for, I want to say, about a year, where I was still on the forums, I was still posting and still chatting, but I really wasn't interested in buying watches. I really just got happy until it was a Seiko diver, believe it or not. An LE popped up, and it was relatively affordable from Shields and stuff with the sale, and I ended up moving on the Squale 1521 full loom diver to fund that one, and then kind of went down the slope of Seiko again pretty quickly. Had a cut, not as big at all,
Mm.
but I had more than I'd planned to get. And yeah, I guess that, again, YouTube still being massive in my influence, is when I started really getting into micros, because I've said this before. I didn't like purchasing online. I didn't like purchasing while not holding in the flesh. Every watch I have out of that huge collection was from trying on
Mm.
in like, and I would try it on in one place, and they would, say we don't have it anymore if I went back a day later. And then I'd ask, where is it? And sometimes I drove from, where I live north of Perth to Mandurah, south of Perth, to go pick these up from places, because that's just how it was.
It's about 30, 40 Ks. Yep.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
And yeah, I got to this point where I had a decent sized collection again, a few micros. I ended up buying, stuff like Pan Zero, and they were super cheap, and wearing yeah, it's the first when you and I started talking when I had that watch. I remember chatting
Yeah.
to you about that watch.
Yeah.
And yeah, Zillos obviously became a thing. And yeah, the Zillos collection grew a bit out of hand early on. I ended up with about 7 or 8 of them, but that was the streamline into micros from there, and that's where we are. Like you said, now
Yeah.
I'm refined. I'm refined to a number that I like. I'm one over that at the moment, but I'm being okay with it, because of it is
Yeah.
what it is. I don't have anything I want to move on right now. But yeah, but right now is I'm happy. I'm
Mm.
not necessarily lusting over anything. I'm not up all night flicking through posts. I'm also like, if something pops up that I want, I'll pick it up. But I'm not stressed. Like, people, like, it sounds silly to be stressed over watches and collecting, but yeah, it's chill at the moment. And I
Yeah.
feel like you're in the other boat, not stressed by any means, but you're in the
Yeah.
constant
Yeah.
forums,
I think
constant search.
I don't think I ever like sort of went way off the deep end, so to speak. My collection didn't grow to 70. Sorry, Justin. But I've always had in and out since I've started, really. Like I don't think I think they're at the rate that I purchased was maybe a bit different.
Yep.
And I guess the levels that I purchased is a bit different because every time you break that mental barrier to the next one, or you save a little bit more, you know, I was selling random things that I've had for ages around the house, going, oh, look at these trading cards I've had for years. Well, let's just see how
Yeah.
much it's worth now. Oh, it's worth $200. All right, I'll chuck it up for 150 bucks. Bang, someone took it straight away. Like, stuff like that. Then I use
Yeah.
that to fund my watch fund. Like that's what I was, doing. And to be honest, to this day, I still, that's just how I get my watch fund going wrong. But yeah, I think I'm still not quite there yet. Like
Mm.
I don't feel like I'm there at that stage where I can be like, yeah, my collection is so refined or consolidated that I'm completely happy. I still feel like I'm not. I don't think I need to necessarily add more or cut down. Like I'm not at a, I don't feel like I need to consolidate to get stuff or the other way around. But it does feel nice. Like I've recently sold what I sold recently, to be honest, because I think I added it so quickly back again. It's the Oris. I sold the
What did you,
Oris.
Oris?
I
Yeah.
sold my
Yep. The
Oris
glow.
Glow. I had it for over a year. I really enjoyed it. I did.
Mm.
But I just wasn't using it as much as my other divers, frankly speaking. Like I had my Turtle, I had my Halios and Seaforth and my SPB 143. Like those were my core divers that I was using all the time. And funnily enough, they were the very monotone style because I don't know, sometimes I just keep going back to that. And I really wanted to add a Grand Seiko in my collection. I mean, we've spoke about this for a while. So I wanted
Yep.
something which is quartz, high accuracy quartz, something simple, easy, and wanted to get that SBGX2X1, like 261, because in my
Yep.
mind, I'm like, I think where I want to head is I want like an everyday sort of piece, which is quartz, and I want maybe a couple of divers and then a couple of micros, which are my fun pieces. And that's kind of where I want my collection to be eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm not there yet. I still want to experience more watches, really, in my mind. I would love to
Yeah. For sure.
experience a two-door. I would love to experience an Omega. I have an Omega, but it's a vintage Omega. But I would love to experience those type of watches like Speedmaster and stuff like that. And I will at one stage, at one point, maybe not now, maybe in a few years, maybe in 5 years, maybe 10 years. So I don't feel like I'm going to be at that, I've reached maturity and I'm not going to get any
Mm.
more watches. I just don't think I'm there. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever be there. I just
I
don't
was
think
about
so.
to say, like
Yeah.
this, like, where I am now is definitely it might be an extended temporary period of being happy. And look, and in my life as well, watches aren't my only hobby or my only focus. Like a lot of my focus does go to my health and fitness. I do a lot of time with the kids. We do a lot of fishing. We do a lot of horse stuff. We're building a second house. There's a second mortgage to consider there. There's way more than just collecting watches, which is different to back in the in the COVID days, having a real cheap interest rate and
Mm,
a low mortgage was made collecting a lot easier, and having to take anything out of savings if you wanted to. But and just going back to your point on tutor and stuff, while it's my brain, like that's where I think, like, I've had the tutor for some time now. I think I love it more than what I did the day that I walked out with it. And it kind of, every time I put it on, and I don't wear it, I go in stages. I wear it for 5 days straight, then I'll take it off, and then I won't wear it for like 5 days. And I'll put it back on. I'm like, yeah, it makes me appreciate it is a cut above whatever else is in my collection. You hear people say, you got your Seikos and the quality's up there with the best. But when you handle it and you wear it, it's not. It doesn't compare. It tells the same time, like we say, but it's not the same. But I think I'm in the early stages of that maturing in my collection as well. Like I love the Tudor. I've got the vintage, not so vintage, but an Omega as well. It's a bit of a sentimental piece, but I think I'm on the cusp of making a bigger purchase in the next year. Maybe a Speedy, maybe Tudor Chrono, Back Bay
mm,
Chrono, and I think that's where my mind goes when I think about collecting. Now I want to buy something a little bit more higher end and enjoy what I've got on the lower side or the micro side of my collection.
mm,
And I think that happens to everyone. There's definitely like, people who will have fun in that Seiko micro pool forever and be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I do want to experience like a speedy or some sort of higher end
Mm.
chronograph,
Yeah.
or go even so a more everyday wearer from the high end, maybe a pilot's watch. Who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
if I could rock a reverso, that would be one of the ones I'd be super keen on, but I
Yeah.
just don't think I can.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's, yeah, I mean, it's like what style of watch that you like and all that as well. Like, and the thing is, I think I've said this in many episodes, we're privileged enough to be able to do this really very expensive hobby.
For
And
sure.
and and for me, I would love to. I mean, ideally, I think if you see where I'm maturing, where I want to eventually, maybe in my 50s or whatever, 60s or whatever, I would love to have, high-end independence, experience with that. That'd be my sort of like, oh yeah, this is cool. I mean, we spoke about my grail before. We spoke about,
Yeah.
the Kikuchi Nakagawa, which is the sort of, Japanese high-end, real, very me in a sense, It's like Grand Seiko, but like independent, what I mean? It's very, very different. I would
Yeah.
love to experience that, but am I ever going to? Probably not. It's a ridiculous money in that, and which I'm not willing to pay. But
Yeah.
it is nice to have that. And I've said this before, like, maturing as a collector or as a watch enthusiast or getting there doesn't mean an exit watch for me. It may mean an exit watch for some people where they sort of go through that cycle and then they're out. But no, that's not going to happen for me.
It's a weird thing because, like, yeah, like you said, looking into your, it might be so far down the track, but looking into my 50s, I couldn't even tell you what I want to have at that stage of my life. But I love the stories of people like, relatives of mine who have had the same Rolex for 25, 30, 40 years and been happy with that. But then the stories of people having Citizen Eco drives for 15 years and not having to replace a single, is it capacitors that they're replacing there? I can't remember. Insulators, who knows?
Yeah, I should know this, but yes, go
Something in
on.
there.
This the
But
mechanism in there. Yes.
those stories exist everywhere. But I couldn't even tell you. Who knows? Like, I might be off the cliff on this next year, and it might be again into a bigger collection, and then consolidating again in a few years' time. But it's like I just said, like the money I spend on watches in comparison to something like fishing is so minimal. The amount of time as well put into that hobby in comparison to this hobby, like we record once a week is
Yeah.
our aim. If we can do twice, we will, but we spend a lot of time chatting.
Yeah.
The amount of time I spend on something like fishing is so crazy in comparison to this, because the amount of gear you lose in that hobby compared to like over here, snapping rods, busting bearings, that type of stuff, it's so minimal what I spend on watches in comparison.
Yeah.
And I don't know which way I go from year to year. There's some years when it's good and I get right into that. Some years I go back to the farm and do shit up there.
Yeah.
So my focus goes away from hobbies in general and just goes to life and savings and
Yeah.
all that. So I find it really hard to think about the future, and I just kind of buy in the moment, I guess.
Sure.
Not so much anymore. I think about it more for a bit longer. That's why the Starbuy thing, that sale, I've been looking at this, we spoke about this Citizen probably coming up to a year ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've spoken about it. I've sent screenshots to you of it on the Starbucks website saying the price has come down from 450 to 4, then 329, and then all of a sudden it was 299. It was like bang, that's the time. I've pondered it enough. I like it enough. Now's the time. That's the way I kind of do my spending now.
I think like you've been talking about that specific one for like, I don't know. I feel like we've had this, for like 6 months now, if at least.
Yeah, yep. I couldn't tell you what episode it was, but it was an episode that got a good amount of listens because we did speak about it on a new release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just the way I like to collect now. I mean, the bigger purchase, whatever's to come next year, is going to take more time, even though right now a Speedy is where I'd like to lean, even though we did talk and I'd put a bit of hate on the Speedy. You can't take away from it. Nothing I said will ever take away from
Mm.
the Speedy and its history and whatnot. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's maturing. I don't know if it's just like a mood thing or a time in life thing, because I don't think this will be the way it is forever. I'm definitely going to go off the cliff again. I guarantee it. I'll put money on it. but it's just when, how, what's going to spark the interest. Is it micros? Is it something more expensive? When this house sells and I've got some spare cash, do I go in then and do a whole revamp of a collection? Who knows? But it's part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and yeah, like I mean, we speak about so many different watches all the time, and obviously we have our lane. We love the affordable watch, and to be honest, like right now I'm wearing this Grand Seiko that's on my wrist, but I get the same excitement when you know, when I pull out my Seiko Turtle out of my watch box,
Yeah.
which cost me about 300 Australian dollars. I was like, yes, I love this. I love the way it wears. Okay, so there's a big change difference in
For
monetary
sure.
value between them, but I'm still enjoying it. And I think as watch enthusiasts, we can get carried away with the
Mhm.
we need to keep getting higher levels. I don't think you need to be honest. I really don't think so.
Yeah. I was literally on my phone. The last thing I've got written down as a reference point is what this Citizen or the Ciosa or even the sorry even the Turtle,
Yes.
everything I pull out excites me the same way that the Tudor is. And the Tudor is the most expensive watch in my collection. It's got a bit of meaning behind it,
Yeah.
but everything in my collection now, maybe besides the G-Shock, of course, but they're kind of token slots in the collection. Everything in my collection excites me the same amount when I pull it out and get it in the light for a wrist shot in the morning. I think that's maturing as the collector. That's what makes me happy. And my collection ranges from 300 AUD to 5,000 AUD. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all excite me. They all make me happy. They're all different. They
Yeah.
all serve a different kind of purpose. And
Eh,
that's where I'm at. That's my cycle.
Yeah, and I think that's what means to me as a maturing watch
Yep.
enthusiast as well. Not
And you can
just,
change and
but I
be the
enjoy it.
same. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like looking back in my collection, I was just trying to figure out in that timeline for me. I had so many like Romas in there too. I had like 4 or 5 Romas become part of my collection. At the time, I got really obsessed with them. I had a Rock Shell Mark II. I had the Chronograph Mark III. It was a steel and rose gold PBD chronograph with a blue dial. If you go right back on my
Hmm.
Instagram, they're in there. But at the time, that's the stuff that was exciting me, and that was what was making me happy. When that was PBD blacks and PBD golds and PBD rose golds. That's what was making me happy. And that feeling back then is the exact equivalent now of what I get of pulling out the Tudor and
That's
putting it on
awesome.
wrist.
That's awesome.
So
That's
don't,
what you
and
want.
yeah, don't feel people kind of say in the forum as well, they feel bad for not wearing a watch in rotation. Don't feel bad about it, I guess, is the thing. Like just as long as it excites you when you do put it on,
Yeah.
that's what matters in that
Yeah.
collecting aspect.
I agree. I agree. I have like my Tissot that I don't
Mm,
wear a lot at all. My wife actually wears a lot, but I don't. But when I do put it on, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I really enjoy it. And it's
yeah.
sentimental to me as well. It's a watch that I
Yeah.
received on my 30th, and it's definitely gonna be in my collection forever. So to enjoy it. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, look, I think we were going to try and hit two topics today, and we sort of went. I guess we just let the
Just run with
uh,
it.
let's ran with it. That's it. But I'll be super interested to find out from the listeners, like what do
Mm,
you know what do you think as the life cycle of a watch enthusiast? Do you feel like you at where I kind of am, which is still sort of buying and expanding collection, reduce collection, or sort of consolidating phase, or are you sort of just done? Have you got your Grand Seiko high accuracy quartz as a one, and then you've got your Speedmaster, and that's it. That's all.
yeah.
I've seen collections like that where they have like one quartz and one chronograph or something, and they're like, that's it. Yeah, be interesting to see. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
hit us up. You know the drill. Hit us up on Instagram. We're always there, and I think we can talk about it now as well. We're going to be at this point in time, when this episode releases, we would have already done this. So we would have dropped a channel. Is that what it's called? Channel?
Yep.
That's right.
Instagram channel. Yep.
So yeah, Instagram channel where we'll be posting updates there. We'll be chatting with all of our followers on Instagram, and I think yeah, it's just a good way to connect with the listeners. So yeah, if you're not on Instagram, get on Instagram, get on the channel so you can have a chat with us. Or basically you'll be getting all the updates live and yeah, within the channel.
Yeah, for
Cool.
sure. Looking
Cool.
forward to it.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, look, I think we probably leave this next topic for another time.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of we're sort of at the end of our end of our sort of time that we wanted to go. But as usual, let's go to our something interesting section for the week. Justin, what do you got, mate?
Uh, I'm going to run with the Citizen train that I'm on at the moment.
Mm,
I'm not sure if you've seen Citizen have dropped a titanium integrated sports bracelet or added to a collection, the
yeah.
Forza, and
Okay.
they're cool. I feel like what they've done with the Ciosa really kind of paved a way in, and they've kind of found their footings there, and they've lent in here and come up with something completely different, but in the same vein. I like it. It's probably not what I'd wear, but I think they're, like we've said before, they're making moves, they're making themselves known, they're competing with the bigger brands that maybe they were sitting under before.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm on the Citizen train pretty hard at the moment. I really, it's not just because I've recently purchased two of their watches, but I genuinely think Citizen's becoming an equal player with the Seikos in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, this I feel like the integrated sports thing came in so heavy, hit so hard, and then died off a little bit. Everyone did one, everyone did the colors, and then I think just to kind of stick around and keep adding to it and chipping away at that section of your catalog is cool.
So is it the super titanium in the small seconds hand we're looking at?
Yes, that's the one. Yep,
Gorgeous. That
really nice. Hey?
tealy greeny color is amazing.
Yep, big
Uh
fan.
yeah, was it 40, what's the dimensions on this thing? 40 and a half? Not bad.
Yep.
Bad. Oh man, yeah. Citizen. Oh, look at the dial texture on that thing too.
This is like they've gone with the Ciosa and said, all right, what can we do now in a different lane, but in the same vein as the
Mm.
integrated sports watch? Because this is giving me real vintage vibes, real retro vibes. Yeah, you can picture it
Uh
on wrist in older movies.
yeah. How much is this? What are we thinking
Very
here?
cheap. From memory, it was around 650 or 625
Aussie dollars.
USD. Yep. Oh,
USD.
is that
Okay.
AUD?
I've got 429 euros.
Yeah, must. Yep.
So we're looking at, yeah, 690 Australian dollars,
Yep.
or somewhere around there. That's really good. Full titanium,
Small
beautiful
seconds
small seconds
complication.
complications, yeah. 100-meter water resistance, so you can still use it around and not really worry about the only thing, my criticism there, for something which is around 650, but we could, I would wish that their clasp would have been a milled clasp, but that
Yeah.
again,
Yep.
that's just a big brand thing. I think they don't sort of do that unless they hit the $1,000 mark, sort of thing.
Yep.
Seiko does the same, but I feel like Citizen's really stepping up. So yeah.
What's cool here is they've included the Eco Drive in these releases too. So there's a full titanium Eco Drive version of this. There's a full titanium Eco Drive chrono of this as well.
Oh
So
damn.
to have a good range come out of this instead of, like, remember when the PRX dropped, it was like, oh, here's your standard and here's your was it three colors at the time? I want to
Yeah.
say
Mm.
blue,
Mm.
white, black. And then, I can't remember if they did automatic and quartz at the same time, but I feel like they didn't. I feel like quartz came a little bit after. And that's when we got that satin white dial and the
Mm.
tealy green dial. But it's cool that Citizens just come in and said, here's one at, a 650 price point, and here's a Eco Drive at a 490 price point.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um,
I just like the fact that, like, I think we spoke about this before as well. There a lot of these sort of really JDM styled, sort of Japanese domestic market Citizens are coming out in the wild here, and
yep.
and they just look cool. They look way better than those shopping mall Citizens.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
probably got the last couple of years to thank for that. I mean, watch collecting got pretty brutal there for a while in terms of price and the certified pre-owned stuff coming out of Rolex changed the game a lot, and COVID changed a lot. So I
Hmm.
think where watches became very saturated but hard to get at the same time.
Yep.
Funnily enough, I think Citizen kind of went, "Oh, there's a spot here for us to fill,"
Yeah.
and yeah, especially Seiko, I think during that time as well got a bit of a rep for quality control issues,
Yeah.
and Citizen probably tunneled in right where they needed to be, and like we've said in the past, they're kind of upwards at the moment. Their projection.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Nice.
Sweet. What about
Very
yourself?
good.
What's interesting on a Tuesday?
So I have I saw this new micro brand. Look, I don't think they're new. This is the first time I've seen them. I'm gonna drop a link. So they've got an interesting name. It's called TWB watches. A bit of a mouthful.
I've heard of this.
I think they're called the Watch Brothers. Again, I'm not in love with their brand name, I must say, but I do really like, is it the Watch Brothers or the Western Brothers? Let me see their brand. Anyway, I'll move on to the actual watch itself. The Western Brothers is their
The
name.
Western. Yep,
Yeah, so
that's it.
this is a brand that is based out of Bahrain in the Middle East, and they make some pretty nice, elegant looking watches. And the watch that I'm looking at is called the collection is the Cavalleria,
That's what I'm looking
and
at too. Yep.
yeah, so very classy. It just reminds me of like really old school vintage watches with, Roman numerals. It's got a small seconds hand, sort of, I guess, offset to the side. The lugs are, the case.
Lugs and crown. Yeah.
Exactly, the lugs, the crown, the case shape is like it's as an octagonal sort of shape. I don't even want to say it. It's like it's almost like a oval, but it's got some beveled edges to it as well. And it's just super classy. I mean, the movement in it is a seagull movement, which is, I guess you could say. Is it the best movement you use? But it looks pretty nice, It doesn't look all that
Mm,
ugly in the back of it. It looks pretty decent.
no.
It's got a nice case back, obviously showing that. And it comes with, a few different colors. It's got texture on the dial as well. If you,
Straps are cool.
yeah, straps are awesome. Like that sort of camel
Yeah.
suede color.
Yeah.
I love the texture on the dial. Like when you zoom
Yeah.
into the inner dial, there's like, sort of gear shape pattern. I don't think it's gear shape pattern on both. There's like I guess the main inner circle of the dial, and then also the small seconds hands, and then the handset itself, just elegant, just very elegant. And there's not a lot of micro brand dress watches out there, I feel.
Mm,
That has that sort of classy look. There's Furlad Mari. It comes to my mind when I see sort of this kind of style, except they're a bit probably more conservative in terms of case shape. I think the latest one
yeah.
has a nice little lugs on the thing, but I don't know. I just thought it was really nice. And yeah, look, we're looking at 41 high, 39 wide, and 9.7 mil thick. So under 10 mil, super thin. It's going to be just, on your wrist. And it's not, yeah. And I just think, and it's, all your specs, sapphire, crystal, you name it. And you're looking at 715 US dollars. So look, probably a bit on the higher side for I guess a relatively unknown brand, but I don't know, something unique, something a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not my type of watch, but can appreciate it. This salmon and navy is beautiful. That's the colorway. And the
Yeah.
picture when you hover your mouse over the watch itself is awesome. Yeah. I definitely I can't remember if I'm getting this confused with something else, but the three-letter watch brand is ringing a bell, but I don't think I've seen this before. Yeah, I think everything what they're trying to go for, they're ticking boxes here in comparison to their other two watches that they've got on their website.
Like
This
this
is
is the
definitely
best one.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is different. It's obviously I think they've really thought about this opposed to the other one looks I wouldn't say generic, but it's definitely like a lot more plain, a lot more safe.
Hmm.
Like you said, you don't see a lot of this sort of stuff coming out of the micro scene,
No,
but very cool.
and yeah, definitely, definitely. And again, this is you don't really see a lot of brands coming out of the Middle East as well, or not that we've featured. So it is cool to see, and I would love to see the same one with the Eastern Arabic handset, that would be awesome. I reckon that would
Mm,
sort of really,
yep.
draw in that their, I guess, their brand identity. But definitely a cool one. I'll leave the link in the show notes as usual. So yeah, check it out, and
Yeah.
I'll be very curious to see if anyone out there has one of these. But yeah,
Yeah.
you
Can't say
could.
I've ever seen a post or anything.
No, I don't even know how I
Nothing.
saw it. It came up, and I think it was on Instagram, as we do always, just on Instagram. And then I sent it to a listener of the show, a avid listener of the show, and also a watch enthusiast who loves his dress pieces. So hence we, bonded on this. And but yeah, definitely again, but I was just not sure about the name of the watch brand itself. But anyway, beside that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, other companies that figured that out and make iterations down the line. So who
Christopher
knows?
Ward. All right,
Nah,
mate.
awesome.
All right, well, fantastic. I think it was a good chat, mate, today. Nice, I guess, discussion episode. And yeah, we'll continue on the next part that we wanted in a separate episode, I think, because we're
Yeah,
again,
for sure.
that one also has some
Nah,
meat
I
to
think
it.
dividing it up is a good thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, there's nothing else. We'll leave it there.
Easy, mate. Take care. Thank you for joining us on Overtime the podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the episode.
You can find us on our Instagrams at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, and at Horology Capture.
We appreciate the support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you.
Until next time.